welcome to
podcast co-hosts.
We're keeping it. We're keeping it.
Well, yeah, we don't.
You can't edit audio.
Yeah.
No.
Impossible.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown, the unofficial sumo podcast for official sumo fans. This is Ryan.
This is Matt.
What?
This is Eric.
I don't know who I am.
Sorry, we wagered our names on several sumo matches, and then it got out of hand.
How did Flerick end up at Matt?
Well,
there was to give context, there was a sumo I think training seminar that happened just yesterday as we're recording this podcast, hosted by I think the Chicago sumo people, who is kind of the main head person there is like Matt, and they were named Eric as well, and so between the two of us, with two Erics, we ended up with neither of us having the name Eric by the end. And as my consolation prize,
inherited the right to the name Eric.
Yeah, so I think it was the case that it was a battle between the two of you for who gets to be Eric.
Yeah.
And then somebody else beat you and is like, now I'm the Eric.
No, exactly.
And then somewhere in there, Matt's name also ended up on the line, and I beat him, and now I'm Matt.
Yeah, he definitely didn't agree to that. I'm just taking it as a consolation prize.
Yeah.
What shenanigans happen at these sumo events?
Unfortunately, we have a very loaded episode, and we can dive into that no longer. We're going to have to get into that on the midway episode.
Oh, you just wait till the Amasumo update. Me and Flerick will take over again.
Oh, God.
All right. So this is our Haru preview episode. We are recording this Monday night, March 4th. So this is 6 days prior to the Basho. Hopefully no major news breaks between now and the start of the Basho, as we had a lot of major news from the end of the last Basho to the start of this Basho. We will cover that in detail. But first, we want to remind everybody that we have a Patreon. You could sign up at 3 different levels: a $1 friend of the show, a $2 card collector, or a $3 best friend of the show. You get compliments, access to our Discord, trading card rights. You can ask us questions, all that fun stuff. Any and all levels are highly appreciated. We're thankful that anybody is willing to support us. It's honestly amazing.
Seriously.
All the money that we raise, none of it goes into our pockets. It all goes to improving the podcast and giving back to the fans. So
joke's on you guys. That's what I was going to spend my money on anyways. Improving the podcast.
Yeah. And we are actually at a point where we are sitting very close to 100 patrons.
Are you serious?
Never in 1,000 years would I have guessed we had got close to that, but we are sitting at 93 active patrons. So we have decided to put out a little incentive to see if we can reach 100 patrons, where if we hit that number of 100 active patrons, that will unlock a private YouTube live stream for our patrons only. We'll be catching up on answering some of the questions that have been submitted to us and we just haven't had time to get to, and then we'll just chat with whoever is around in the live stream, answer any questions that they might have for us. We'll figure that'll go on for a couple of hours. So the live stream portion of that will be private to our patrons only, participation patrons only. But then once we're done with that, we will release the audio in a podcast form for anybody to listen to and the video on YouTube for anybody to watch. As always, we don't want our Patreon to content lock anybody from seeing or listening to any Grand Sumo Breakdown content.
Yeah, we do not have the bandwidth to produce an entire exclusive level of stuff. That would also just kind of...
What do you think we are, professionals?
That would also kind of go against the spirit. Like, we don't... Are we going to become NHK where we lock our stuff away?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, NHK. I went there.
Oh, you went there. Oh,
but a big reason we're sitting at 93 patrons is because we had 8 people sign up from the end of Hatsu to the beginning of Haru, which means we've got 8 hot, fresh compliments to go out to these people. So Greg Flores, you are the piece of my heart that I never knew I was missing. And now that you are in our life, I feel like the sun shines brighter, the birds sing clearer, and cotton candy tastes even sweeter.
Foxfire is pretty cool too.
Yeah, but without Brandon Hannigan, I just don't think the show could go on. I mean, come on, it'd be over.
The linchpin holding this all together.
We can't. We can't.
As tempting as it is to say, Michael, you're also pretty cool.
Sorry, I already took the cop-out one.
Yeah, it's true. I'll go with Michael. Your support is as massive as Jamie's Tachiai, someone from the Chicago Sumo Club, which has
pretty big. He's pretty strong.
Pretty big.
That one's a big one.
Oh, sorry. Is it my turn to go? I was too busy thinking about how amazing our new favorite patron, Takebuzuyama, is.
Ooh. Brandon Mount, member of the Iowa Sumo Club. I had something special saved up for you, but actually, no, I just want to give you a legitimate compliment that you have become a very formidable sumo wrestler, and I am super grateful that you are one of the regulars at the club, and you have elevated my sumo, Fleric Sumo, and everybody else.
Yeah, but
Get good,
DT
scrub.
Hawk. Oh, go ahead, Fleric.
I'm sorry.
Fleric was coming through with the trash talk that I had originally planned to give to Brandon, but yeah.
I see. But a DT Hawk is as majestic as a bald eagle, as fierce as a falcon, and as smart as a crow. We are truly honored to have them with us.
All right, for
Some
Colin
ornithology there
Matthey.
for you.
Oh, it's a bird joke. Okay.
Yes, it's a bird joke.
For Colin Matthey, our new favorite patron, your massive support, Nodawa, is like a hug to my neck.
Aw.
Ouch.
Strong and supportive.
As we mentioned, we're currently sitting at 93 active patrons, and for the longest time, we would split up that group into 3 different groups to be named, every single one, on the preview, midway, and recap, and that list is getting too unwieldy at this point.
We're just sitting here listing names for minutes on end.
So what we're going to be doing from now on, we're still going to have an extra compliment to all of our continuing patrons, and then I've got a random number generator that I've got all of our patrons listed in order of sign up, not order of favoritism, because then it'd just be a list of ones. Can't do that.
Yeah.
And so the random number generator said to Waka Taco, your strength and resilience in facing life's challenge are as mighty as a sumo wrestler in the ring. Your unwavering determination and steadfast spirit make you a true champion on the grand stage of life. Keep embracing each day with the tenacity of a sumo warrior. Thank you.
Wow.
Chat GBT.
I was legitimately going to be impressed that you strung together something so eloquent, Ryan.
Did you just say,
And
give me a
then
compliment
you ruined
related to
it.
sumo or something?
Nearly verbatim, yes.
Wow.
Excellent. I'm gonna burn through our Amazumo update real quick because we got like Ryan said, we got a lot to do. Like we mentioned yesterday, we trained with Chicago Sumo Club in Yama. Ouch. A couple weeks ago in San Antonio, we had the Mighty Eagle Team Tournament. Go look that up on the Mighty Eagle Sumo Club YouTube channel. Just 2 weeks after that, we had the SoCal Open in San Diego. Go watch that on the Maximum Effort Studios YouTube channel. Coming up, we have the Sakura Cup that is in Tennessee. That is the opening salvo for the race for the Midwest champion. Gonna have like an end of the year prize for the winner of essentially whoever goes to the most tournaments gets the most wins. We have a scoring system set up. All the Midwest wrestlers at Midwest tournaments can earn points for that. Immediately after that, on the 13th of April, we have the Rollertown Showdown in Dallas. I know for sure that'll be on the Dallas Sumo Club YouTube channel. Not positive where Sakura Cup is going to be streaming yet. But the Rollertown Showdown, Fleric, you're going to that one, right? Huh? Yeah?
Probably, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
90% we'll find out.
That's slightly better than the last time I asked.
That's pretty deep commitment from Fleric.
Yeah, from Fleric, that's pretty good.
And then on June 1st, keep an eye out for U.S. Nationals. That's in San Diego. As always, go to sumo411.com for more information on all events past and present. But yeah, that's all I got. That's faster than it was usually.
Yeah, perfect. That's what we need. And we're going to slide right into B's recap of the Hatsu Basho.
Hey guys, B here with your 2 Hatsu handle review. Okay,
Ooh, nice.
I get it. I do. Teru is Kaiju, Teru is Yokozuna, Teru is Kaiju Yokozuna when he competes, and he competes like a monster. Yeah, I dig it. I get it. I bought the t-shirt. Like, I know. But they definitely got me with the Kirishima rope run story. Like, I understand it's not time for his coronation yet, and that's fine. Just like Cody losing at Mania last year, I understand what it means, but that doesn't mean I actually like it.
Gotta finish
Hopefully
the
The Rock doesn't show up and try to take Kirishima's matches too. I gotta say, I feel bad for Midori Fuji. He had a nice little spark, but it's pretty clear that he's getting saddled with the same booking Enho got. The, pal, you're so tiny, do a cartwheel when you get beat. Oh, let the other guy pick you up. Take a flatback bump off the clay, Also, weirdly, Nishikigi is reminding me of Shodai's booking. I feel like I'm going to turn on a Basho one of these times, and he's just going to be an Ozeki, and I'm going to have no memory of how it happened. There was plenty I liked this go-around, too. Booking the follow-up to Gonoyama and Hokuseiho as just Gonoyama sliding him off the clay, got a laugh. Frog Ref taking a bump also got a laugh, but I really hope that one was planned. And I like what they're using the low-card streaks for now, which is introductions. Get a green guy like Onosato, have him win a bunch, everybody pays attention, and then have him lose to the top guys and go from there. I do have to be a little bit more generous when I judge these guys, though, like Hokuseiho. Yeah, his matches are boring, and his ring work is just dreadful, but he was clearly working hard, too. And that's just his in-ring character, also. Who knows? Maybe outside the ring, he's just, like, the nicest, most generous, good-natured dude. I guess we'll never know. See you for Haru.
I was gonna say maybe he didn't know, but I think he did. I think he
Okay,
knew.
at
That
the
had to have
end.
been.
I was gonna say, like, when did he send that in? And also, that's why we don't pay B.
Also, yes.
At the end there, I think he knew.
Really brought it
I
around,
would
yeah.
hope so at this point.
Because
But
he did send that voicemail in pretty early. I don't think the full scandal had broken yet.
The lingering doubt in my mind is why we will continue to not pay B.
Yeah, okay,
So-
that's fair, I think.
We had referenced some big news that happened in the break between Bashos, and for anybody that's unaware, Hokuseiho has retired. Miyagino Oyakata, the former Hakuho, has been demoted 2 ranks in the JSA and basically has had control of his stable wrested away from him for this Basho, and who knows what it looks like in the future. So let's start with Hokuseiho's abuse and what he has done. This is all stuff from the official report released by the JSA. He regularly beat there were 2 victims in the Miyagino Bay that received this treatment. So he regularly beat them with a broom handle or a rolled up mawashi multiple times a week. He slapped them on the backs and testicles multiple times a week. He super glued a victim's wallet, rendering it unusable. This wallet was a gift from Hakuoho, and when Hakuoho learned of this, he was not very happy about it, and then he replaced that same exact wallet to that rikishi. Hokuseiho superglued a victim's fingers. He lit insecticide spray with a lighter to make a flamethrower and scorched the victims with fire. He locked a rikishi in the toilet for 3 hours. He force-fed a rikishi 20 hamburgers. This guy loved the glue. He applied glue to a rikishi's headphones, once again rendering them unusable, and he was also accused of stealing from his fellow rikishi. What better way to hide that you're
list
stealing
just
money?
kept going.
Yeah,
God.
there's no better way to hide that you're stealing money than to super glue the wallet shut so they can never open it and find what's missing.
I'm not
What
stealing
an
from you. I'm
ass.
just gluing
Yeah.
your money shut.
So apparently Hokuseiho took all of his passion and energy that should have been reserved for on the dohyo and just spent all that on being a psychotic little shit. So
Jeez.
Yeah.
he was asked for his resignation. I think saw the writing on the wall, handed in his resignation before the official report came out. But even if he didn't hand in his resignation, he was
Yeah.
kicked out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Miyagino, it can't just be a thing. It's like, oh, I didn't know. Because apparently during Nagoya of 2022, Miyagino Oyakata was told about Hokuseiho's violence toward one lower level Rikishi. I believe that Rikishi came up to Miyagino Oyakata and he provided a picture, which Miyagino did not check. He did not check the facts with Hokuseiho or the victims, and he didn't warn Hokuseiho or give him anything to stop that violence. So that was in Nagoya of 2022, and obviously the ignoring of the violence just allowed Hokuseiho to go unchecked for the next year plus. That is what led to the upheaval at Miyagino Bay. So, as I mentioned, control of Miyagino Bay has been wrested away from Miyagino Oyakata for this Basho. The Heya for this Basho is going to be run by Tamagaki Oyakata. This is a coach from the Oshima stable. He isn't like the Oyakata of a stable. He's just an additional coach at another one. So he's coming over to be head Oyakata for this Basho. He's either like 57 or 59 years old. He wrestled under the name, I think it was Tomono Hana, something like that. But he's really interesting because he didn't start professional sumo till he was 27 years old, as he was previously a school teacher. So, I mean, kind of the kind of guy that you want to come in and correct some behavior at a stable. So we've got some quotes from Tamagaki Oyakata, as he is being very strict with the stable this Basho. He said Rikishi aren't going to be allowed to go out for dinner. There's not going to be any Senshuraku party. They're not going to be talking with media at all this Basho, which to a lot of people seems overly harsh to be punishing the victims of Hokuseiho's bullying after the bully has been cast out. Now we're just punishing the people that were already punished. But he says it might be harsh, but this is a serious situation. Miyagino Bay is under probation. I've been told to steer it like the Heya doesn't exist. If something happens again, the Heya and the Rikishi are out. He also said, my first order of things will be to ensure everybody connected to the Heya fully grasps the situation, then have them act and think responsibly. That's the start.
Wow. This guy is pulling no punches.
Nor should he. I mean,
no. I'm impressed.
Like it is harsh to those Rikishi to not be able to go out and socialize during the Basho. But this is really a situation where their careers I'm sure they're not going to, if one thing happens, they're just going to kick all the Rikishi out of the stable. But the Beya will dissolve. Everybody will separate. These are guys that have been together for years. I'm sure none of them want that. And Tamagaki Oyakata doesn't want that either. So he's doing whatever he can to make sure nothing happens under his watch. So as we said, this Basho, everything is controlled by Tamagaki Oyakata. And then it's kind of nebulous and confusing what happens after that. It's not very clear. It just says the Miyagino stable will be taken into custody by the Isegahama Ichiman for an undetermined amount of time. So I don't fully know what that means. Is Miyagino gonna be back in charge, and somebody's just gonna be overwatching, seeing how he's doing, making sure nothing bad is happening, and that Hakuho is taking control of his deshi and paying attention to them, and if something occurs, he is taking responsibility and making sure that stops, or what's going on with that. But it doesn't sound like after this Basho, Miyagino is off scot-free. He's got to be under good behavior for a long time. And it's not like Hakuho is away from the stable. He's going to continue to work at the stable as a coach, just isn't the head guy this Basho. So that's a lot of stuff. What are your guys' thoughts and reactions to all of this?
I think it's good that they're over the last few years, they have made it clear that if stories become public about somebody being a bully, they'll crack down. This one at I don't know. I maybe I just don't remember the order that everything came out, but like once it's public, they're always like, "Oh yes, of course, this guy has to get kicked out," or "This is a horrible idea." But like,
so
how much of it was out before they started pulling.
I don't think a whole lot was public because remember Hokuseiho pulled out of the Basho last in Hatsu.
Yeah, and we thought it was an injury at the time, right?
Mhm.
It was reported as an injury, and they said that he's going to get surgery on his knee. He's going to definitely miss the March Basho. And then a couple days after that, rumors were swirling. It's like this might not fully be. This might be like a secret suspension for Hokuseiho here. It sounded like towards the end, like Miyagino knew what was going on. Ishiura's a coach at the stable, kind of knew what was going on, and they were getting fed up with Hokuseiho. And so I think this was them trying to take control of the situation. But from what I understand is that a parent of one of the victims sent a message on Twitter or some social media to the JSA, and that initiated their review of everything that was going on. So as far as we knew, I think the JSA was aware of this before we heard any of the allegations. So it doesn't sound like, oh, this got out, now we have to check on it. It sounds like they were made aware, and so that's a zero tolerance policy. They have a compliance committee now. They started doing their investigation, which is why I don't think anything happened with Naruto Oyakata and that Bea with Oshoma and those allegations, because I think those just remained allegations. Nobody really made any official complaints to the JSA or anything like that, so they didn't open up an investigation.
Yeah, that's on me then for not remembering the order of things, but like I want the JSA to be jumping on things as soon as they hear about it, not as soon as the world hears about it.
Right.
So yeah, if that's the case, I mean, maybe who knows if we'll ever know the exact order of events for when Hokuseiho pulled out and who knew what at that time and all that, but like, yeah, the big kicker here, the big kick in the gut that makes this such a bummer is knowing that Hakuho was aware of and ignoring the stuff.
Yeah,
agreed.
Can't exactly feel sympathy for letting this go on for a year and a half when he knew about it. Even if he didn't know the extent of it, it wasn't something that ever got taken up the chain or anything.
Shouldn't have been ignored.
Yeah, honestly, I think Miyagino Oyakata is lucky to still have his job. Like, just think these are some of these guys are kids under the care of Miyagino Oyakata. Parents are entrusting them. And I was just thinking with my daughter, if I sent her to school and she was repeatedly being bullied by a student and made the teacher aware and the teacher did nothing and allowed that behavior to continue to happen, fired. I'd want that teacher out of there and fired immediately. So honestly, in my mind, Hakuho is getting away. I mean, not scot-free by any means necessary, but he's still lucky to have his job, in my opinion. And I know there's a lot of people's like, oh, the JSA hates Hakuho. They're coming down on him way too harshly. It's like, no, they're
doing what they should be doing.
Yeah, if they wanted Miyagino Oyakata gone, I think they have every reason that they could have gotten rid of him. Now he's on the shortest of leashes, but
double secret probation.
He's still there, so.
Well, not secret anymore.
Well, not secret anymore. Also, yes.
Yeah, it feels like a kind of escalation of all the things that have happened before in these like last 5 or decades, as you can tell, of all this stuff. It's because the previous stuff, the previous handling is this bullying, hazing still kind of coming out, and it's just I guess they're kind of taking up a notch, especially when they found a situation where Hakuho was, I guess, ignoring it. I'm not too up to date on the details of this, so but that's not good. It's not great. So I'll be curious if this is consistently upheld against everyone else. But yeah, bullying people is bad. So let's go for that. Yeah, it's interesting that they like you say, everyone's kind of getting punished. I hope it doesn't lead to a culture of not reporting stuff like this.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want the people in his Heya to be mad at that guy. But we'll see.
And the guy that's instituting all those rules, he's only in charge of the Heya this Basho. I think it's just kind of system reset for this Basho. I don't think it's anything like this is how it is going forward. I think really need to get our ducks in a row this Basho, and then next Basho kind of open it up. But who knows who's even really going to be having final say at that stable moving forward.
Yeah, and another thing to remember or to learn, I guess, if you're new to sumo is you can't get traded. You're with a Heya unless
We'll actually
we'll talk about it later. There's like if your Heya closes down or your coach retires or certain other like circumstances like that, then your group might get absorbed into a different group or something along those lines. But you can never just be like, I don't like it here, I'm going to go to a different stable. There's
no transfer portal.
Yeah, that's not a thing in Pro Sumo.
All right.
Like for example, if you were an amateur sumo and you were like, I want to win more medals and be better at sumo, you could like move to Iowa and become part of Iowa Sumo,
the greatest sumo club in the United States,
the entire state. Yeah. But like you can't do the same in Pro Sumo.
No. Yeah, the United Counties of Iowa.
99 counties, and
all 99.
We're the best in all of them.
Yep. All right, so yeah, just a really crappy situation. We don't need to say much about Hokuseiho. Terrible person. He's out of sumo. We're all the better for it. He had potential to be something great, and we'll never find that. And who cares?
It was a great disappointment.
The situation is a bummer, but I'm certainly not bummed that he got consequences for being the way he.
No, totally.
Was. Yeah.
So let's move on to better things and talking about what we actually think will happen with people who will definitely be at the Haru Basho. And I realized that
just blew it there.
I realized that I said people that will definitely be there, and here we are talking about Terunofuji, who hasn't finished back-to-back Basho since May and July of 2022. But he is showing all the signs that he is going to be There's no doubt in my mind he is going to start the Basho. He is very much aiming for his 10th career Yusho. This has long been known as a goal of Terunofuji, of something that he wants to achieve, kind of a bench watermark among Yokozuna to distinct yourself as a high-level Yokozuna at that 10 Yusho mark. He is quoted as saying, I will compete with all of my might each day to make it happen. But as I mentioned, obviously with Terunofuji, you can't go a Basho without bringing up his health, because the guy just has not been around very much for the past 2 years. As I mentioned, it's been almost 2 years since he's completed back-to-back Bashos. But in the Bashos he has competed in since his return to the top division in July of 2020. So that is 22 Bashos in that time span. He has finished 13 of those 22. So more than half. But those were mostly front-loaded for those first couple of years in his return. But in those 13 that he's competed, 8 of those were a Yusho, and another 4 were June Yusho. So if Terunofuji's there, he's going to be in the Yusho race. It's just a guarantee. So, Mac, for Terunofuji, what is more likely this Basho, Yusho or Kyujo?
Remind me, how many Yusho does he have?
9.
So he is this close to being known as a Dai Yokozuna?
That would be correct.
Then why the hell wouldn't he try with all his might? This has Yusho written all over it.
Oh, I mean, his body. There's that.
Okay, shut up. Put that aside.
Yes. Sorry. I'll bring us down in a minute. You keep us going to the positives.
You look back in the history of the sport. How many Dai Yokozuna have there been? Of recent memory, I can only think of one, and that's Hakuho, but he's several greatest.
At least 4-time Dai Yokozuna.
Right. So it's a level of prestige that very few Yokozuna have ever achieved. So he has the potential to do it. He's right on the cusp of achieving it. Why wouldn't he go after this Yusho? Body aside, I think he's really going to try as hard as he can.
Besides this really good reason. What would
besides,
be holding,
other than this really good reason to do it, I think, honestly, he's still top dog. I mean, yes, he's showing a little bit of weakness with the younger pups, but he's still, even like Fleric had said in the last tournament, at 85%, he's still head and shoulders above so many more of his opponents. And
like
he needs to capitalize on them. What's that?
I said, like all of his opponents. He's
okay, yeah, fair. True. But not just inside.
Especially because Hokuseiho retired. Now he's also probably up there with the tallest guys.
Yeah.
But no, that's my thought behind Terunofuji. He's right on the cusp of achieving something really awesome, and he's still showing why he's the top dog.
Just real quick, he would be the 15th Yokozuna to get 10 career Yusho or more.
And there have been over 70 Yokozuna since the invention of the sport, correct?
He is number 73, yes.
There's more opportunities for Yusho now. I don't know. It's probably a loaded question that needs a little bit deeper analysis than counting.
Yeah, but in the modern... But we could definitely use a stat in the modern era.
Modern era, then.
Kisano Sato,
53.
Harumafuji, Kakuryu did not get to that level. And that's where Terunofuji wants to get. So, obviously, big deal. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely more pessimistic. I think that...
we know this.
Yeah. No, I mean, just in general.
That's what I mean. We know this
topic, I will not surprise anyone. I think that we're definitely, in my opinion, I think we're in the phase similar to Hakuho towards the end, where it's like he can put it all together for 15 days every couple basho, and it might be one or two off. And this one, I guess I don't think it would be completely unheard of for him to finish it. I'm just pretty doubtful. If I had to pick right now, I'd say he goes like, I don't know, 1-1 or 1-2 or 1-3 or something like that in the first few days and pulls out. That is, if he starts. I know we don't necessarily have any indication at this point that he won't enter the tournament.
He hasn't been
still a week.
He as of now, he hasn't been waffling with any of his comments. He is competing. He has been doing practice matches within his stable. All signs are pointing to Terunofuji entering the Basho.
And would it be the first time that somebody who was gung-ho about participating didn't? No. I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm trying to get my hopes lower so I'm more likely to be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, I'm definitely on the other side of this coin, Mac.
I'm gonna join Mac on the positivity side.
Yes, energy.
I feel like Terunofuji, he showed last Basho, as Mac said, still head and shoulders above everybody. None of the
except
Sanyaku, except for Shodai and Wakamoto Haru. But that was first week Terunofuji.
One of those losses looks a lot worse than the other.
Fair enough.
Just wait until he got going. Then he was unstoppable.
There you go.
None of the Ozeki, Sekiwake could do anything to him. And like I said, all signs have been pointing towards Terunofuji feeling good enough to compete this Basho, at least get started. And we know that
Day five.
As he goes, he gets stronger and stronger. So if he can make it past, yes, probably day five. Then I feel like I don't even feel like day 5. I feel like day 1, it's Terunofuji's to lose.
Okay.
Like I'm like, this is for me 80% Terunofuji Yusho. And then 20% is if he pulls out, because if Terunofuji finishes this, he's winning the Yusho.
That part I was
about to say, what you think, Flarek?
I was gonna say, his knees though, but no. I'm with the Mac and Ryan positivity. He got Jake. He got some surgery. I think what was it?
Joke's on you guys when his leg falls off.
Oh God, exactly. No! Don't you bring that evil into this world?
But it sounds like his surgery is taken well, and he looked pretty dang good last time. And the fact that he hasn't seemingly not re-injured anything, he's practicing, that's always a great sign if he's practicing. I think he's looking like he's gonna enter. And if he enters, I think he's gonna do pretty well. That's I think he has a real good shot at getting number 10.
I was gonna make a comment about how he might drop a match or two at the beginning of the Basho. But you know that the Yokozuna schedule gets harder as it goes on, and he's going to have to face those 4 Ozeki at the end. But then I did the math. He's if my math is right, I think he is 35-5 against our 4 Ozeki. and guess who has all 5 of those wins?
Mr. T-Rex Arms,
Mr. Takekesho, Hoshoryu Kirishima, and Kota Nawaka. Those 3. Let's see, 10-0, 11-0, 7-0. Terunofuji has owned all 3 of them.
Yeah,
if he's healthy enough to make it to that point, he's fine. He doesn't have to worry about those guys much.
Here's another fact to against Jake's case of Terunofuji falling apart. Shodai is mid banzuke, so likely they're not going to face off against each other.
True, but Meisei's back up there, and Meisei's taking a couple off of Terunofuji.
Where's Daisho? Where's Daisho?
And
Tobizaru's 10 or 3-10 against Terunofuji, so that's honestly pretty good for a record against Terunofuji.
Yeah.
Where's Nishikigi at? Nishikigi's taken 2 off of Terunofuji.
Tomosubi.
Yeah. That
Daisho is
that'll be day one.
Crap.
That should be day one. Terunofuji versus Nishikigi.
That's wild. Oh, No-Show has 4 more wins against Terunofuji than 3 of our Ozeki combined.
All right. When though? When are those wins?
Let's take a look. They are only one of those wins is back in the day. The rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gotten 3 legit wins off of Terunofuji since he's been back in the top division.
Any Kinboshi, or were they all pre-Yokozuna?
One of them would have been a Kinboshi, but it's a Fusen.
Okay.
So I guess he's got 3 legit wins and 1 Fusen against Terunofuji.
Yeah.
Since he's been back, and a bunch of losses, but still.
Yeah. Oh, No-Show's nowhere close to sniffing a Terunofuji match this Basho, though.
Then he's safe. You're right. You show.
Done.
No Shodai. No-Show.
All right. Let's move on to the group of 4 Rikishi that are vying to rise to the Yokozuna level are 4 Ozeki, and each one of them has their own special little storyline coming into this tournament. We'll start with Kirishima, our top-ranked Ozeki, as we mentioned before, what happens when stables fall apart? He's a part of a stable that is going to be closing after the Haru Basho. The Michinoku Beya is going to be closing its doors as Michinoku Oyakata is reaching the mandatory retirement age, and he has either not found anybody to take his Kabu, his name, Michinoku, or he just wasn't willing to give it up. And so the stable will be closing, and it is going to be left up to each Rikishi to decide which stable they would like to be transferred to. So it's not going to be all of the Rikishi are going to be absorbed by one stable. Everybody is going to have their choice, but they have to remain within the Tokitsukaze Ichimon. And for anybody who doesn't know, we've mentioned Ichimon a couple of times this episode. Ichimon is just like a group of heias that all kind of work together. They'll practice together. And I think they all kind of
they vote together.
Yeah, vote together for the JSA. And I think there's 5 Ichimon, Isegahama, Tokitsukaze. I think Nishonoseki is one of them. I can't remember the other 2 off the top.
Tatsunami, Dewanomi.
Yes,
Dewanomi.
And so, yeah, so these guys will have to choose one of the stables within the Tokitsukaze Ichimon to transfer to. And it sounds like the newest stable in the Tokitsukaze Ichimon is the Otowayama Beya, which is opened just in the Hatsu Basho by previous Yokozuna Kakuryu, and sounds like Kirishima has confirmed he will be transferring to Otowayama Beya to be with Kakuryu, who was a coach at Michinoku since his retirement in 2020 or 2021. I don't remember when Kakuryu retired anymore. Probably 2020.
I got it right here. Yeah, he retired in his last match was in early 2020. But then, yeah, he didn't retire until 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kakuryu was he was with the Izutsu Beya, and if I remember right, that one was him and like 2 lower ranked guys. It was like 3 of them for a while, and then they got absorbed into Michinoku, and now Michinoku's getting absorbed into another one. That's
well, Michinoku's not getting absorbed; it's just disbanding.
It's just disbanding.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it's not all of Michinoku is not going to one spot. They're spreading out.
No.
Yep, I got you.
Each Rikishi will have their choice of what stable they want to go to within the Ichimon,
which is unusual, but it's kind of a cool thing to see, I would say.
I like how we brought that fact up about not being traded. It's like it's very rare for this to happen. All right, so now this thing is happening.
but this is because Michinoku Oyakata reached the age of 65 and he had to retire, correct?
Yes, and he wasn't able to get anybody to take his Kabu, so he will still have the Michinoku name past 65, because I think you can still hold on to those till you're like 70 as like special advisor or something like that.
There is a way
to pass it down, right?
Yeah. Typically, I think they give up their name so the stable can continue on under somebody else, but that's for whatever reason isn't happening this time.
Probably money.
Probably money.
Probably.
Yeah. Those elder names sell for like millions of dollars or something like that. So.
And so, yeah, Kirishima, this is going to be his last tournament in the Michinoku-Beya. Let's move on to Hoshoryu, who had to pull out at the very end of the Hatsu Basho after he re-aggravated a knee injury that he had gotten in the week prior to the start of the Hatsu Basho. But it looks like he is, I don't know if full systems go, but the dude is out on Daigeko doing practice matches. He doesn't seem to have any restraints on him. So it seems like Hoshoryu is ready to go. He's not in the starting blocks as an Ozeki, because I think he has back-to-back 10-win Basho as an Ozeki, but he hasn't really flashed as a real Yusho contender beyond those 10 wins quite as an Ozeki yet. So we're still looking for Hoshoryu to really shine as an Ozeki. Not that he's been doing bad. Like, we would be falling over ourselves if Shodai had performed as Hoshoryu has as an Ozeki, but we're still waiting for Hoshoryu to take that next step. We've got Koto no Waka, who will be in his first Basho as an Ozeki. We made a big deal on the recap how, nope, he's not Koto no Waka anymore. He's going to be Koto Zakura as soon as he takes that Ozeki rank. But that is not the case, as he is holding on to the Koto no Waka name for, I believe, just this Basho. The reasoning given is that Koto no Waka was his father's Shikona. His father had a career high rank of Sekiwake, and the current Koto no Waka wanted his father's Shikona to be associated with the Ozeki rank. So he wants one Basho as Koto no Waka and then switch to his grandfather's Shikona of Koto Zakura. Of course, his grandfather, a former Yokozuna. So that's what Koto no Waka's got going on. He's in his first Basho as an Ozeki, which we know can be troublesome. Hoshoryu got out of the gates real slow in his first Basho as an Ozeki, managed to scratch together an 8-7 record. So we'll see if some of the same things affect Koto no Waka here. And then we have the biggest question mark at the rank of Ozeki, our lone Kadoban Ozeki, Takerufuji, who needs to get a winning record this time in order to maintain his rank at Ozeki. And when they got to Osaka to begin their training, it sounded like Takerufuji made a statement that he's not going to be talking to reporters this Basho. So he really seems like he's getting focused in and taking this very seriously. But the news isn't all great for Takerufuji. The little news that is coming out, he did not appear for a joint practice on Monday that involved his other stablemates, and his Oyakata Toki Wayama had a comment saying his neck is getting better slowly, but we're being on the safe side and letting him rest. It would be a discourtesy to do half-hearted sumo. So they didn't want Takerufuji out at the training because Takerufuji isn't at his full capacity and wouldn't be able to give great sumo matches to his competitors that are competing against him, which less than a week before the start of the Basho for a guy with severe and consistent neck injuries isn't the greatest of news. It does sound like he's been doing practice bouts with Takanosho in his stable, but his inability, at least on Monday, to participate in the joint practice is definitely not a good sign for Takerufuji. So that's where our Ozeki are currently standing. I want to get everybody's thoughts. We'll start with Fleric. Who's going to do the best of these four? Who's going to do the worst?
Best of these four. It's hard to not look at Koto no Waka with that 13-2. It's yeah, I think I'm just gonna probably go with the last record of that. It's hard to really kind of say between Kirishima, Hoshoryu, and Koto no Waka. I think they've kind of shown that they're at a very similar level right now. So I think this is kind of a toss-up right now. It's honestly, I would not be surprised if either three of those do pretty well. And can't count on Takerufuji.
Well,
You can't count on Takerufuji. He's Kadamon, so he's gonna be super powered. He's gonna be like a Guido reincarnated.
Or will it be like we saw last year? I think he was only caught up once last year. I might be mistaken though, where he had to pull every trick out of his hat in order to get his 8 wins. I don't know. I'm I'm nervous. This is like the first time I've really been nervous for Takekeisho as an Ozeki and keeping his rank. And as I've said before, I think if Takekeisho's demoted, I think there's, with how serious it seems like his injuries are and the location of his injury in his neck, it wouldn't shock me if he retired. I'm not saying I think he would, but I don't think it's off the table for a long time Ozeki with a serious injury to retire if he's demoted. So I'm honestly getting really concerned about how much longer we're going to have Takekeisho. Hopefully he can come out in the first week, go 6-2, 7-1, and put my fears at ease. But I'm like close to 50-50 on Takekeisho getting a losing record this Basho or having to pull out again. And that's the worst I've ever felt about the 7 prior times he's been Kadoban.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I think the big thing is like he's still really, really good. But he's been kind of the same with a slight decline with this kind of neck injury, while the people around him have been getting really, really good. Like this is a stacked Ozeki class we have right now. Terunofuji is looking like he overcame his injury right now, and he's looking in top form. It's going to be, like I said, it's even if he is still at the kind of same level he is, it's going to become a harder time as time goes on because his peers are just getting so much better.
I was wrong about Takekeisho. He went Kadoban twice last year. The first time is when he had to scrape together his 8-7. Then he pulled out the next Basho. Then the following Basho, he got his Yusho. It was an 11-4 Yusho, but he did win that Yusho.
Yeah. So,
to close up on the Takekeisho thing, though, who has the best record against Terunofuji, though, right now?
Will he be able to fight? Will he make it that far to fight?
Will he survive that
exactly.
long?
Yeah. Those Ozeki and Terunofuji, they won't have to fight each other unless they are healthy enough to stay in until the late Basho. On the other hand, though, that does mean that they'll start facing off on like day 11, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, on day 12, I guess.
12.
Yeah.
Because you'll potentially need 4 days. If there's 5 of them, they'll need 4 days for them all to try and face each other and stuff.
Yeah, they all started fighting on day 13 last Basho, but that was because Takekeisho had pulled out. So if you have that extra guy, they need to start fighting day 12.
So the other thing, I'm going to give a real GSB style stat here and assume that patterns that have been established in the past are never broken. I think I might have brought this up on the banzuke episode, but this was from our listener William, who said who pointed out that the last time that anybody made Ozeki without getting a Yusho was Takayasu almost 7 years ago. So, you know, if you got to get a Yusho on the way up, otherwise, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to happen ever. So
speaking of other patterns that must hold true, because that's how numbers and stats work, on our Discord channel, our patron Adam had said the last 7 Yusho winners were Takekeisho, Kirishima, Terunofuji, Hoshoryu. Then it's been Takekeisho, Kirishima, Terunofuji. It's Hoshoryu's turn this Basho.
They've established the pattern.
Oh no.
That would be really funny if we.
That actually would be funny.
Yeah. That's a long pattern to get a full repeat.
Yeah. Jake, I think all of us are probably in agreement. Takekeisho is the one we're going to think does the worst out of these 4. But Mac and Jake, who you feeling? Which Ozeki's going to pop off this Basho? Or pop off the most? They're all going to pop off. They're all getting double digits, I'm assuming.
I guess if I have to pick one, I think I might go with Kirishima. I think he's kind of the senior guy out of this group, barring Takekeisho, who's been Ozeki longer, but is probably younger than them. I don't know. Either way, Kirishima, I think he's got the experience edge, and I just feel like we've seen him at this level more consistently, and I don't know. To me, he just feels like he belongs here more than the other guys do. And I'm not saying the other guys don't, but like he seems to be the top, like, consistent, dependable Ozeki for the moment. So I think he's got to be the guy that I would go with if you make me pick one. But I do like Hoshoryu and Kota no Waka in this Basho. I think they're also both going to be on my list of contenders.
Kirishima 4 months younger or older than Takekeisho.
Really? I guess Takekeisho's older than I thought he was.
Yeah,
but, I mean, I guess I guessed right, but I guess the margin was smaller than I thought.
Takerufuji is August 1996, and Kirishima is April 1996. So Kirishima is 4 months older than Takerufuji.
Gotcha.
All right, and then I have one last question about I have two more questions about our Ozeki because one hit me. We have been talking about Hoshoryu, Kirishima, and Koto no. These are the guys that we need to be talking about because honestly, the Yusha is going to come from this group or Terunofuji. So of the group, Koto no Waka, Hoshoryu, Kirishima. We've mentioned these guys are like 0-30 against Terunofuji. Anybody think we might finally get one of those guys taking a match off of Terunofuji this Basho? I think that's really going to be the measuring point for these guys at this point. Can any of them take a match from Terunofuji? Do we think any of them are up to it? All of us remembering the last match we saw Terunofuji against an Ozeki was him absolutely throwing Kirishima out of the dojo.
Yeah. Emphatically. I'm raising my hand because I have something to say, but also because I'm pointing to Hakuho versus Terunofuji up on my wall here. They don't necessarily have to beat Terunofuji to be the next guy.
Right. But it'd be nice.
But it would be, yeah, I mean, that's why you always have the guy that's retiring lose in pro wrestling, you know? You got to give the rub to the next guy. I mean, sports that aren't scripted don't work that way, obviously. But, I mean, narratively, you want... Oh, no, did we just burst Ryan's bubble here?
Oh, no.
You monster.
Ryan needs to rethink some things, so I'm going to vamp for a minute.
I've got to go.
When I first met Ryan, one of our first bonding experiences was I went to his dorm room and he pulled a box of VHS tapes from under his bed and he was like, "You got to check this stuff out." And it was every WrestleMania up until the date that we had met, up to 2009.
It was like the first 20 WrestleMania on VHS.
Yeah.
And I spent my sophomore year, like I had mornings off on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So like my first semester of my sophomore year of college, I would spend Tuesday mornings watching a WrestleMania and then Thursday mornings watching a WrestleMania.
There you go.
Nice.
But anyways, since this is not a scripted sport, none of these guys have to beat Terunofuji if Terunofuji were to retire and they were to be the next guy potentially. But obviously you want that to happen. I think that it's it's possible that it will happen eventually, but it's super unlikely because Terunofuji has to compete to the end of the Basho. Kirishima, Hoshoryu, Takerufuji, Koto no Waka, they won't face him until the very end of the Basho, the last 4 days or so. And if Terunofuji's still wrestling then, it's because he feels like he can win the Yusho still. And if he's in his top form, I don't really see much reason to think that anything would go differently this time.
Yep.
But
I will interject there, Jake. You have the young blood, the Koto no Waka. I think he stands a good chance.
That's about all wins against him ever, but you know.
But his record's a little better.
Patterns don't change, Mac. We've established this is how GSB does stats.
And we buck the trend.
Yeah, I was gonna say eventually it's gonna have to tip in the other side's favor. So it's is it gonna be this Basho? Is it gonna be later? After looking at last Basho, doesn't
that's what
seem
the
likely.
People come to us to answer, Fleric.
I know.
It famously took Tochinoshin 26 times to finally beat Hakuho. I don't know that we're going to quite...
Nobody beats Tochinoshin 27 times in a row.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody. I'm
going to have all eyes on Kirishima to see whether or not he has a different plan going against them. I'm very curious about the rematch.
So I will point out the last time we saw Kirishima versus Terunofuji, dog shit performance for Kirishima. the time prior to that they matched up, Terunofuji obviously still won, but it was a very close matchup. They were locked together for a minute plus. It's not like Kirishima is absolutely being boat raced out of all of these matches against Kirishima. He's had at least one recent competitive matchup against Terunofuji. The last one didn't go as planned, but there's nothing to say Kirishima can't step it up this time. I do think Kirishima or Koto no Waka are the two that I would point to that could pull it off this time, but it is tough to erase that last memory out of your head. So
it just leaves a sour taste.
I'm not gonna say it's happening, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I'm looking through their matchup together, Terunofuji and Kirishima. It looks like they had, I guess he had one bout against someone he was a Komosubi. That was in 2022. And then he had one bout against him in 2023 as Sekiwake. And so far he's had one bout against him in January of 2024.
So
the point I'm trying to get across. Yeah, once he kind of was starting to prove himself as being able to compete against the top, he's had maybe 1 year, give or take. So I'll be kind of curious to see if he gets a couple more matches, how it's going to go.
Yeah. All right. And then I had one more Ozeki related question because we don't really have another time to talk about this. So it's not really projecting for this Basho. But we've just had 3 Ozeki, Rikishi promoted to the rank of Ozeki over the past 5 Basho. And I think we were all kind of pointing to these guys like, yeah, these guys could become the next Ozeki. They were all in the Sanyaku ranks for like a year prior to that. It all made sense that these guys were going to be Ozeki. Right now, I'm feeling a distinct lack of that. I'm sorry, Fleric, and your Daisho hopes. I'm not feeling it. So and it doesn't. They're just not really. Yep, that's the next guy. That's the next Ozeki. So Mac, how long will it be until we get a new Ozeki after we just saw a flourish of promotions over the past year?
As I look back to see who we've got, I'm like, all right, I'm betting at least another 3 years.
I mean,
that's a long time.
That is a long time. My mind, I'm almost going like maybe 2. Who it is? A handful of people it could be, but yeah, I think we're in for a decent gap.
We're in for a glut.
Get the next Ozeki, and that's fine because at least 3 of the 4 Ozeki we have, we're very confident in, and the 4th is a longtime stalwart Ozeki that you really can never count out.
We have 4 Ozeki right now and 1 Yokozuna. So we're at a level if you're someone trying to become an Ozeki, you can't just beat everyone below you and be able to still make it, because that's only 10-5. If you always lose against Ozeki and Yokozuna, I guess I'm trying to say. So, and which is only, if you do that 3 Bashos in a row, that's only 30 out of 3 Bashos instead of the magical number of 33. So it's you have to probably prove yourself you're better than someone else, which is a tall order at the moment.
Yeah, because those 5 guys above you, you got to beat at least 1 or 2 of them for 3 Basho in a row and not lose to anybody else.
And not lose.
I do think that there are a couple prospects that I agree with you. It'll probably be a little while, but I think Daisho, Wakamoto Haru, Asanoyama, and Atami Fuji, I think would be my 4 picks of like, if somebody said there will be one new Ozeki within the next year, those would be the 4 names that I would be looking at right now. Yeah, I don't think that none of them are particularly close. I guess Wakamoto Haru had 10, Daisho had 9, Atami Fuji, nope, never mind. He's coming off a losing record.
He's coming off.
Yeah.
What was Asanoyama? 9.
He was 9 and 6.
Like, considering
like healthy for a full Basho.
Yeah, exactly. But theoretically, Daisho, Wakamoto Haru, and Asanoyama could have the first of their 3 behind them. Like Asanoyama and Daisho, even with 9 wins, you get 14-0, 15 or whatever. Like, if they absolutely blow it out of the water, they could potentially be there. But like, we mention that all the time, and it never happens.
I only shake my head for Asanoyama. I don't think in any world does maybe back-to-back Senchos, but 9 and 6 for Maegashira 7. I don't think in any world.
You're right. I'm sorry. I guess I forgot how much he had been over-promoted. He's Maegashira 1 right now, but yeah, they're not going to count a run that started at 7. Yeah. If he got a 9 win right now at Maegashira 1, that could be the first of his 3 to get Ozeki. But
if the last 2 are amazing,
incredible, yeah, exactly. But yeah, you're right. I'm definitely mistaken. Wakamoto Haru, Daisho are mathematically in the running to have started their Ozeki run already, but still long shots.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to talk about some other guys because there are other people and they theoretically could win the U show. So Jake, we have our 2 Sekiwake, Daisho, Wakamoto Haru. Which one are you thinking does better this Basho? Who gets more wins amongst those 2?
I think I'll jump on the Wakamoto Haru train here. Daisho, I don't know. I think it's mainly that I am so much more confident that I know where Daisho's ceiling is, and Wakamoto Haru can still surprise me.
It's because Daisho showed us where his ceiling is. It's right here.
Yes, very firmly. Same with we talked about Hokutofuji last week in the Discord. He was the Rikishi of the week. It's like, yep, we know exactly how good he is.
Yep.
And Daisho is kind of the same way. It's like, you are exactly Sekiwake level and no higher or no lower. Wakamoto Haru, I mean, I know I'm speaking long term here, but I don't have any reason to have a different guess short term. Wakamoto Haru coming off 10-5, coming off a win over Terunofuji. Yeah, I think he's feeling pretty hot right now. I bet he can turn around another pretty good one.
No, the one thing I'll say in defense of Daisho, I agree that I had a bit of an off Basho at the time, but Daisho's staying power has proven that he's pretty dang consistent about it. Wakamoto Haru still seems a little bit streaky. So, but Sumo is all about, Ozeki is all about peaking at the right time and chaining three together. But it's, I think it is kind of close between those two. I think they are kind of the stars below
Odds
the current
are
crop of Ozeki.
Both of them go 9-6. Like, I think that's the favorite thing to happen this Basho. Both of them are fairly even and go 9-6 this Basho.
Roughly where they're ranked, about like 5th and 6th from the top.
Yeah, that's kind of nice about the top of the banzuke right now is the people at the top are who they should be. Like, our top 6 to 7 guys are very defined of who they are and what like tier they're on. It's very clearly defined. The past like 3 years before that, it's not as defined, but we've got very clear delineation. And then it all falls apart when we get to the Komusubi rank. Mac, I've gone into this on the banzuke episodes leading up to this Basho, but there has been a curse laid upon the Komusubi rank since Koto no Waka was promoted out of there. He forced his way out with 11-4 record and created a third Sekiwake slot in July of last year. His fellow Komusubi at that time, Abi, had a losing record, and then the next 3 Bashos, each Komusubi has had a losing record. We have not had a winning record Komusubi since Koto no Waka, who is now Ozeki. So, Mac, will Abi in his 3rd try since Koto no Waka's winning record, or Nishikigi in his 2nd try since Koto no Waka's winning record at Komusubi, will either of them get a winning record this Basho?
The curse exists for a reason. So, no, I don't think either of them are going to get a winning record. But who among these two will have the better record? My gut says Nishikigi, but I can't discount how tricksy Abi is. So it's really a toss-up. But I want Nishikigi to do it just because I want to see the Eater of Worlds come back.
Well, we know Nishikigi is going to beat Hoshoryu because that's just what he does.
Yes.
So that's one guaranteed win for Nishikigi that I don't know Abi has a guaranteed win in his pocket.
I absolutely despise that, not Nishikigi as a person or even as a wrestler. I despise that he decided about a year and a half ago that he was good.
So weird.
I literally still cannot believe it, and he is attempting chump pick for me every single time that we do predictions.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Come on.
I literally still might. But
actually, from a competitive standpoint, that's a good choice, Jake.
It's not a bad choice.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad choice any of the previous times that, he still did okay.
To back up my Nishikigi versus Hoshoryu, because I was flying off the seat of my pants there.
Is it?
He's won the last 4.
Oh,
wow. So 2 as Sekiwake and 2 as Ozeki. Nishikigi has beaten Hoshoryu 4 consecutive times that they've matched up.
Wow.
He's eating his lunch. What on earth? Like, yeah, I'm scrolling back through his career. Just like most Maegashira guys, he had a blip where he got into the joy for 5 minutes. But other than that, from mid 2016 through mid 2022, he was like a gatekeeper to Juryo. And then all of a sudden, somebody else puts on their Nishikigi suit, goes out there, and decides to be like a Komusubi level wrestler. It's absolutely garbage. And he is, no, absolutely not. Abi will do better.
Oh man,
I'm really rooting for Nishikigi now.
Me too.
Come on, Nishikigi.
Like I said, I don't dislike the guy. I dislike that the universe has put the set of circumstances in front of us.
You dislike the theory behind Nishikigi.
I feel like it's like somebody gave me an answer but didn't show their work on a math problem, you know?
Oh.
It's like I see what's happening. I see what's happening. I don't believe you.
But I don't know why for any reason.
Can you show me the proof? No.
Absolutely not. Like not I don't want to, I cannot.
I cannot. This is just the answer.
All right, let's move on to the exact opposite end of the top division. Our lowest ranked Rikishi, Maegashira 17 East. Our lone Rikishi making their top division debut is Takerufuji. So we've been talking about we talked about him a decent amount when he was down in Juryo in the last Basho. So
because it was the only time he was ever in Juryo.
So far.
Yeah.
If you don't know Takerufuji, he is in the Isekahama stable alongside a lot of the other Fujis, if not all the other Fujis. Terunofuji, Atami Fuji, Midori Fuji, Nishiki Fuji, and Takeda Fuji. There's a lot of those Fujis in the Sekitori ranks. He is 24 years old. He'll be turning 25 prior to the next Basho. So he won a Yusho in his first two Bashos in Jonokuchi and then one in Jonidan. And then he spent only 5 more Basho between Sandanme and Makushita combined before he made it up to Juryo for the first time in January, where he went 13-2 from Juryo 10, won the Yusho, and made it up to the top division just one Basho after becoming a Sekitori. And he is the 5th Rikishi to pull that off in the modern era, the first to do it since Endo did it. But he's kind of the 4th Rikishi to pull it off in the modern era. So Takanoyama debuted in Juryo at Juryo 5 in the Basho following the mass exodus of Rikishi after the match fixing scandal in 2011. So his promotion from Makushita into Juryo was really accelerated because there was a lot of people that were kicked out of Sumo ahead of him. So they needed to fill it up with somebody.
So you're saying that one kind of doesn't count?
Yeah, because he started so high in Juryo. He started at Juryo 5, his first Basho. He got a 10-5, so he got a record, deserves to be promoted. But in any other circumstance, he would have started at like Juryo 11 through 14, 10-5 would not have got him to the top division. But he still did it, so it still counts. And also for Takerufuji, he ties Jokoryu for the fastest rise from a debut in the bottom division to a debut in the top division at just 9 Basho. He has never lost by Oshidashi or Yorikiri. It's because he's barely lost in his career. But the top 2 Kimarite by far used in Sumo, never lost to either of those.
Wow.
I think the only one he's lost to multiple times is Hataki Komi.
He's lost 5 times out of his 8 have been Hataki Komi. This is one of the strangest profiles I've ever seen. Even though it's pretty light on data so far, it's very strange. He uses Oshidashi about 50% of the time compared to a normal wrestler would use it 25. So yeah, he's very much a pusher, but he also uses Yorikiri more often than average.
Yeah, because he just uses 35%, right?
Yeah, as opposed to an average of about 25%. Yeah. So he's very maybe
Front
you could
heavy.
say he's very heavy on not going complicated.
If you watched him in Juryo, it's because he runs at you like a bulldozer, and then you're out of the dojo before you can figure out what happened. So
and all that matters is, was he touching the belt or not? I guess it's this one or that one. You know,
hasn't been a whole lot of complexity to Takerufuji's matches so far.
There you go.
But so
that's interesting.
In my mind, I kind of need to lump him together with our other fast risers that we've seen come up over the past year. Atami Fuji, he started at the bottom, made his Makuuchi debut 12 Bashos from the start of his career. Then you had Haku Oho, who made it to Makuuchi in his 4th career Basho starting at Makushita, and Onosato, who made it in his 5th career Basho starting in Makushita. All 3 of those guys, we're going to ignore Takerufuji's technical first Basho in Makuuchi, where he went 4-11. We're just going to say all 3 of those other guys got 11-4s in their debut Makuuchi Basho. And honestly, for me, I feel like Takerufuji is really in line to follow that path as those guys. I think similar to like the Tadpoles, similar to our group of princes, Wakataka Kage, Hoshoryu, Kirishima, Kotonowaka. I think these 4 are gonna be linked in my mind, and we need a nickname for these 4 guys.
I got one.
The Nuggets.
What?
I don't know, like, you know, like little nuggets, little chicks.
Let's call them the Broncos.
I'm following you.
That's a cool
kind of like
idea.
little chicken nuggets.
Yeah, little nuggets.
The unicorns.
Yeah. They're like big boys, you know. They like to push.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? What? I hate that so much.
I'm kind of coming around on it. I might like.
Yep.
I
They
might.
eat nuggets.
I might love the Nuggets.
Okay, all right. My idea was going to be the Zoomers because they're all Gen Zs
Oh,
and they all
wow.
zoomed really fast to the top division.
Damn it, I
Don't
really
know.
like that. No, I like that.
Technically, Takerufuji was born 8 months before the year 2000. But all 3 other guys were born in, 2002, 2000, and 2003. So they're all Gen Z, and they got there really fast. So that's my submission. Maybe we should hold off and get some more ideas?
I was gonna say like the monsters because Hakuoho was
They
like
are all kind of huge.
his
They are
nickname is
big.
the monster of the Reiwa. So monsters would be good. I kind of am in love with Zoomers though. That just works on a couple different levels, and I really like that. All right,
They've been dunking their opponents left and right, just like you dunk chicken nuggets in like some
Yeah.
barbecue sauce.
Oh,
I thought
Fleric,
that was
I
going to
thought
be
you-
the Denver Nuggets. I thought he was going to make
People
like
love them.
I thought he was going to make a sports joke, but no, you got me with the fast food joke.
yeah.
Denver
Fleric,
Nuggets. Are those are they famous?
That's a basketball team. They dunk basketballs. It would have
yeah.
been
They're
a great
defending-
joke, Fleric.
I believe they're the defending NBA champs. I don't follow basketball as closely as I used to, but I'm pretty sure Denver won the last championship.
The fact
Hold
that
on.
none of us know is a bad sign
Yeah,
for
no.
basketball, isn't it? Especially you not knowing, Ryan.
So I've really
true.
fallen off on basketball. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Denver.
Yeah, Ryan can't do anything else till he looks this
I need
up.
to know.
Yep, he needs to know.
So,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
how about
the Nuggets? Nuggets.
Let's
beat the
open it
Heat
up.
5.
Let's open it up. Let's talk in the Discord and stuff and see if we get any other ideas there.
All right, let's do some quick hits on some other Rikshis. Fleric, Takerufuji, he had those back-to-back 11-4 Junyu shows to close out 2023. Got a bit of a reality check up at the Maegashira 1 rank, but not terrible for your debut in the Joy when we have such a stacked top of the Basho with our Yokozuna and Ozeki, with a 6-9 record for Takerufuji last time. He only dropped a half rank from Maegashira 1 East to Maegashira 2, or Maegashira 1 West to Maegashira 2 East. Are you expecting a bounce back performance for Takerufuji this time? I would say a bounce back would be a winning record for Maegashira 2.
Okay, then yes, I will agree. I still believe in this guy. I feel like when you first hit the Joy, it's kind of all about surviving, and he did that with a 6-9 was good enough to kind of still stay in the Joy. I probably just stabilize. Maybe he gets a 7-8 again. But I do expect him to get better and better as time goes on. So I believe in the guy. I expect good things for him eventually.
Jake Asanoyama is at Maegashira 1, his highest rank that he's been at since his return from suspension. Will he finally get back into the Sanyaku ranks following this Basho? And just point out, Asanoyama just turned 30 years old for the first time.
Oh, I don't know why that one hit me so hard.
Because you own, Jake.
No, I think it was the look on his face where I could tell he was really proud of the joke he was about to say.
It's not even it's a terrible joke.
I know, but yeah, I could just see the gears turn like a second too early before it. Okay.
No,
anyways,
what it was is I in my head I was thinking he's turning 30 years old, and then I just like in my head added for the first time. I'm like, no, that's dumb. I'm not going to say that. No, that's dumb. I'm going to say that.
it's too dumb. I
Exactly.
have to
It's
say
too
it.
dumb.
Yeah.
It needs to be said.
I'm optimistic on Asanoyama. I think injuries are the problem, but he keeps he's pulled out 3 times, but he's re-entered all 3 times. And 2 of those 3 times he has re-entered and gotten a Kachikoshi by re-entering. That makes me think that like he might be doing a little bit of that Takerufuji gamesmanship, just trying to be careful with his body and such. I don't know. I do think I would say yes, he is more likely than not to do well here. I just hope there's not a new injury, because he seems to be okay with the existing ones and powering through. But if there's a new one, who knows? I do think that it would be, I would put the odds at better than 50% for him to go like 8-7, maybe 9-6. Take that spot that Nishikigi is obviously going to open up at Komusubi.
Yeah, it's been a new injury for Asanoyama every time. It started as a bicep, then it was his calf, then it was his ankle. But yeah, well, odds are he can't keep getting injured time after time after time. So,
well,
gestures wildly at Takerufuji, who's younger than him.
Yeah. Mac, Ono Sato, one of our Nugget Zoomer monsters.
I like the combo of all 3 there. Nugget Zoomer monster.
He made his glorious debut in the top division last Basho at Maegashira 15, getting 11-4 record, getting thrown up against the toughest competition in the top division, as he had to go up against Sekiwake Kotonowaka, Ozeki Hoshoryu, and Yokozuna Terunofuji. He has been launched 10 ranks up to Maegashira 5, just on the outside of the joy, outside shot of maybe a couple of matches against the Sanyaku. What should realistic expectations be for Ono Sato this Basho?
Realistically, I'm still feeling an 8-7 from this rank. He definitely hit the wall that was the Sekiwake and was like, oh crap, these guys are tough. But on his way up, he still managed to scrape out some really good wins and convincing wins. The man is a bull when he gets on that Tachi-ai. It's like, okay, this is really cool. So I think realistically 8-7, but I think he shows really good promise. I have high hopes for him.
All right. And then let's just go through the remaining ranks and pick out anybody else that we might think need to be highlighted a little bit. Fleric, is there anybody else we haven't talked about between Maegashira 1 and Maegashira 4 that you want to shine a spotlight on?
My eyes are looking towards the Flying Monkey. Somehow he kept his rank with a losing record since the last Basho.
It happens. Desperate times on the banzuke call for desperate measures, and it
was a very desperate banzuke.
Yes.
Yeah. He seems to he always kind of pulls out some wild matches, so I'm always going to keep an eye on his matches and see how he does.
Yeah.
There's also Oho, but I feel like he's just going to just bounce right back.
You think Oho knocked down out of this position? He's
odds are good.
Yeah, the joy stuff at this moment. I don't think he's there yet, but he's improving. It's cool, good to see. And he's also on the upper trajectory, right towards Yokozuna.
We also have got Hira de Umi at Maegashira 4 at his career high rank there. I'm similarly expecting not great things for him.
Some skill checks coming up, I think.
Yeah. Mac, anybody from the ranks Maegashira 5 through Maegashira 8 you got your eye on?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how Kin Bozan's going to actually do with this tournament. Had a 7-8 on the last one, but wasn't a terrible 7-8, and was 8-7 when he was at Maegashira 7. So I think he could be another. I think we haven't. I don't want to compare him to Takerufuji just yet. I need a little more convincing before I can say he's a mid Maegashira mainstay. But I'm slowly getting more convinced, and I want to see if he can pull out a Kachikoshi right here and prove that he can actually hang.
Yeah, he's been in the top division for a little over a year now. He busted out of the gates with a very popular 11-4 debut recently. And then he made it up to Maegashira 5. And then since then, it's been kind of back and forth. Kachikoshi, Makekoshi hasn't really stood out too much.
Tsurugisho. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I think he represents he could be another solid mid-ranker. I just need a little more convincing.
Sure. Yeah, Tsurugisho is also in this range where he does not belong. like we said, it was a desperate banzuke, and his 9-6 got him bumped up like a bunch of ranks.
5 ranks.
He went from 11 with a Maegashira 11, went 9 and 6, and got bumped all the way up to Maegashira 6. Another potential skill check coming up for him.
Look at you, Jake. You're talking about the banzuke like you know what's going on, because
I do not want to lose another prediction series so soon. I've just done a little bit of homework. I'm just talking about it earlier than I normally would because it's good podcasting.
I'm proud of you. You're talking about positions on the banzuke, and it warms my heart.
Hey Ryan, I said Tobizaru kept the same rank as last time. I know how banzukes work.
You did, but Jake knew the theory about why Tobizaru stood there and knew Tsurugisha was over promoted, and by how much.
Magic, right?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah.
To the uneducated banzuke mind, you might think it's magic, but it turns out it's the most holy of all concepts. It's numbers.
Oh,
sacred indeed.
Sacred.
All right. It's my task.
Numbers and vibes.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
There's a few tiebreakers, and some of those tiebreaker rules are kind of vibey. Yeah.
I think we're gonna rename the banzuke episodes "Numbers and Vibes."
I like that.
All right, it is my task to shine a light upon a couple of Rikishi from the Maegashira 9 to Maegashira 13 range. Jumping out to me, Takerufuji. How is he going to recover from that injury that he had last Basho that forced him to pull out? Last time he was at Maegashira 9, he went 12-3 and got in a playoff with Hoshoryu for the Yusho, which he ultimately lost. Not saying that that's what we should expect for Takerufuji, but it's not out of the line for him to kind of have a double-digit performance from this rank, depending on how much that knee has held up. We got Maegashira 10, which is the ex-Ozeki rank of Shodai and Mitake Yumi. Highlighted on the banzuke episodes how very little either of these two guys have been double-digit Maegashira in their career. This is the third Basho for Shodai in his 49 career Basho as a double-digit Maegashira, and the fourth time for Mitake Yumi in his 50th top division Basho. And then
pretty good, turns out. Maybe not right now, but they were pretty good for a long time.
Yeah. And then the last guy, Shimazu Umi, going to be at his career high rank of Maegashira 12, following his 9-6 record in his top division debut. So be interested to see how does Shimazu Umi do. Kind of similar to Chura no Umi in my head, where Chura no Umi got that 9-6 in the debut. Next time got a 7-8. Let's see how Shimazu Umi does.
Just stabilizing, yeah.
Yeah. And Jake, who are you seeing at the bottom of the banzuke?
Yeah, between 14 and 17, the chunk that I had to take a look at here, the two names I'm watching, besides obviously Takerufuji, but we also have Kitano Waka and Roga down here, who both did poorly on their first attempt at the top division. But as Ryan and I joked in the banzuke episode, it ended up working out for them to do poorly in Maegashira and then do well in Juryo, because now they're back in the top division at a higher rank than they were before. So good for them, I guess.
Why win Makuuchi matches when you can simply lose, face Juryo, easier competition in Juryo?
Once you're, I mean, if you're at Maegashira 16 or something and you're out of the Yusho race, just tank a little bit and then do real well in Juryo and get that boost.
You got to find that sweet spot so you land at like Juryo 1, Juryo 2. You don't want to drop too far. Yeah.
And then get like 10, 11 wins or something, and then boom, there you go. Right back in it. No, both these guys real young. Very rare to kick ass in your very first attempt at the top division. So maybe their second attempt will go better. Let's see. They've both been prospects that have had a little bit of steam on them. So let's see what happens.
Yep. All right, and then we'll hop down to Juryo because we've got a couple of very big names that are going to try to make it a short stay in Juryo. We've got the return of Waka Takakage to a 15-day Basho and the return of Haku Oho to a 15-day Basho. Everybody else in there playing second fiddle to these two. These two are the story. One of these two, I would be shocked if one of these two doesn't win the Juryo Yusho. It's a matter of how many wins, not if. So who are we thinking is going to do better? We don't ask questions about Juryo ever, but it's Waka Takakage and Haku Oho. Who do we think does better this Basho?
Aqua.
For the memes alone.
For the
Mute
memes
yourself.
alone.
Jake, mute yourself.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen Wakataka Kage. Does he even know how to do sumo still?
Ooh.
He went 7-0 from Makushita last time, so he does know how to win still, at the very least.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
I'm gonna go with Hakuoho on this one.
My gut's telling me Wakataka Kage, just because there's been a lot of drama around Miyagino Bea recently.
And that's why Hakuoho is going to channel his youth and be like, no, I will fight. I will be the representative for Hakuho in the stable and not disgrace my name.
If there's anything that young people are known for, it's being able to handle drama well. So,
Mhm.
Damn it, good point, Jake.
That school teacher, though, he's going to have him doing so many Shiko and so much training all the time. It's hard to
All
say.
right.
I think I forget if you ask me at all, but I'm going to give
Go
out
for
my
it.
opinion anyways. But I asked
the room at large.
As a known like Wakataka Kage kind of doubter in the past, I do think for some reason my instinct is telling that experience he had is going to probably take him, at least on the head-to-head. We'll see who gets the Yusho, but I think the head-to-head probably goes to the elder.
Who knows?
right.
Maybe Takerufuji down there takes the U show.
I do see
Probably
Aoyama
not.
down there, which is prime time to
Oh, come on, Flair.
go
there-
15-0 and get higher
No.
in Makuuchi than
Dude,
he was before.
Aoyama tore his ACL. There is
He's
no way
done.
in hell he is competing in this Basho,
Done.
let
Oh, yeah.
alone ever
That could
again.
happen.
did he officially retire, or
No.
is he's
No,
just sitting
no,
around?
no.
He's hope. I mean,
Might as well
more power
collect
to him.
another.
Collect another salary and sit
Yeah.
out for one Basho. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess I have been expecting that official word so much that I thought it may have already happened.
And I believe he has his Japanese citizenship, and so I don't know if he's got a hold of a Kabu yet. So he might stick around, even if he does fall to the lower divisions, try to get a Kabu, so he could stay on in the JSA post retirement. Or hell, maybe he recovers from an ACL injury, and we talk about the Aoyama comeback story in 2025.
Again, probably not.
The
Yes.
Bulgarian bulldozer.
With that, we are going to take a quick break, and we will come back, talk about what are we doing with the GSB belts, and get to our Chump predictions. If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
All right. After careful deliberation, we have decided for the GSB belt this time around to do it again Yes. with the same format.
Oh, bold move.
I know, right?
With
Everyone
the
was
same
expecting.
Richie. Wait,
Oh, wait, no.
No, we're gonna start over the GSB belt, which, honestly, I think one of the main reasons that we're just gonna do it the same way. It took so damn long last time that we haven't started it from the bottom in
Yeah.
3-ish years now.
What year is it?
And also, like, all of the ideas we had were kind of very convoluted and
Just
require-
making it worse. Yeah.
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 It's just a very simple purity of who beats who.
Yeah. And in a year, when it gets to not a year, I bet you within like 3, maybe 4 Bashos, it'll get to the top of Makushita. And we'll see if it stalls out again the way that it did for so long. I don't know. Could be fun.
One thing, Jake, do we want to do a simultaneous reverse belt?
Reverse belt.
Oh, like a loser belt starting with
Loser
Terunofuji?
loser of the last match of the first day, and then just whoever loses holds
Yeah.
the belt.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, that'd be fun.
Let's do them both at the same time. See what happens.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I that was one that we considered, and if that one gets complicated because of like I don't know if it gets complicated for any reason or other, we can always bail on that and just continue with the traditional style. So, but this will be the third iteration of the GSB belt and the very first match of the Basho. Whoever wins the very first match in the very lowest division on the first day, they will have the GSB belt. And whoever beats them next takes the belt, and whoever beats them takes the belt, and we see how long it takes to get to the very top. The first one took like a year and a half. The second one took about 17 years or so,
give or take.
In that area.
Yeah,
And then
so we'll see where
and then it got to Maku. The first Basho was in the top division. Boom, made it to Yokozuna. It was done.
Straight shot.
strapped a rocket to it, and boom, it was up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens this time. But we are going to start a winners and losers belt at the same time. We'll see what happens.
So now we're going to move on to our Chump predictions, but we've got a little bit of business to take care of before we get to that, because now that we have our Discord, we have started up a patron Chump series. And what is on the line for the winners and losers? The winner gets to a victory statement that they have read on the episode, and the loser or losers have to provide us with compliments to be read on the preview episode. So
Canceling out the compliments that we gave them for being a patron.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's a dire punishment.
A lot on the line. So our winner of the Chump prediction series among our patrons for the Hatsu Basho was Darth Churros. And they say, I don't have the words to express what an honor it is to accept the title of Chump Yusho winner, but in keeping with the conduct demanded of an Ozeki, I will try my best to find them. Yeah, if we win Chump, we are Yokozuna. Our patrons become Ozeki. Hierarchy that must be respected.
Of course.
I'd hope to dedicate this victory to Koto Zakura, but it seems I'll be thanking my fellow Ozeki promotee Koto Nowaka instead for carrying me to the win. I'd also like to thank Aoyama for maybe being too good a chump, not Ryuden, because I don't want to give him the satisfaction, and the GSB crew for making any of this happen in the first place. Finally, I want to thank my incredible roommate, former Ozeki Adam, the winner of the first Chump. So apparently they're roommates. That's awesome.
Yeah.
For introducing me to sumo to begin with, and for constantly reminding me why I love it. I'm lucky to be surrounded by a community such as all of you, and I can't wait to see what Haru has in store for us.
Aww.
Thank you very much, Darth Churros, and good luck on the upcoming Basho. Let's see what your team looks like. He's got Asanoyama for his champ this time, and Kita Nowaka for his chump. So let's see if he can get a repeat performance.
That was lovely. I honestly, I honestly expected it to turn at some point.
And then we had co-losers last time, and so I will read the compliments provided to us by our first co-loser, Saint Anger, who had the misfortune of choosing Daisho as his champ and Midori Fuji as his chump. Honestly, not terrible picks, but everybody else was just a bit better on their picks.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, I've had those picks before.
Yeah.
It can be
where it's like
it can be rough,
but everybody else did good.
Yeah. So our compliments from Saint Anger. Jake, your involvement in Amasumo and your active involvement as a near pro wrestler has obviously gave you an understanding of the ins and outs of the way of sumo that I do not. Ryan, as the #1 banzuke guy, you clearly have a mastery of the sumo wrestlers that I obviously don't and never will, as I see the banzuke as a completely unknown and mysterious document written by madmen. Whereas you clearly should be made the new head of the YDC immediately. YDC does not make the banzuke, it is the JSA, but that's all right.
Madmen indeed.
Two Yokozuna.
You should just publish a competing banzuke.
Ooh. Shadow banzuke.
I mean, that's
Shadow banzuke. I love it.
That's what his predictions kind of are, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. To Yokozuna Fleric, I can only hope that one day my choices during the Chumps give me the opportunity to be even half as good as a great Yokozuna like yourself. May you go on to be the Dai Yokozuna we all know you can be.
Ooh.
As for Mac, I can only aspire to accomplish the level of anime-style groveling that you have so well mastered as Sukebito. You are truly an inspiration to all weebs everywhere.
Yes!
Beautiful.
And so Saint Anger, with his picks of Daisho and Midori Fuji as his chump, has followed up this Basho by selecting Daisho and Abi.
Ooh.
The man doesn't learn, but also
I respect the Daisho commitment. I respect it.
No, yeah, that's good. Like, ooh.
And his picks in the very first one that we did, Daisho and Abi.
Oh no.
Interesting. So I have the compliments from our other co-loser, Winging It Man. This is actually for the context. This is actually Ryan and Flerick is the only relationship out of all four of us that did not hinge around one of our college friends named Molly. And Trent is her husband, and we go way back with both of them all the way back to college. So there's
former roommate of Jake.
Yep, yes. Me and Trent were roommates for a year, and so there I'm guessing there will be some inside jokes here, but I didn't get any text. I got a 2-minute long MP3 that I have yet to listen to. So let's see. All right, here we go.
This is Trent, aka Wing It Man. I am one of the co-losers of the first prediction series of the year for listeners, and as such, I am obligated to compliment our dear podcast hosts. Starting with Jake, without a doubt, the best ponytail in American sumo. I'm comfortable saying sumo overall since we don't see a whole lot of those, but outrageous flow regardless. And as somebody who did not choose to be bald, but had it thrust upon him as his unavoidable destiny, I need you to know how sincere a compliment that is. On now to Flerick, who brings absolutely immaculate vibes. I think it's fair to say if somebody told me they had a problem with Flerick, I would know in reality they themselves were the problem. If I had to take one member of the GSB crew out to a romantic dinner at one of Iowa's finest dining establishments, like at Chili's or something like that, it wouldn't be Flerick. As established would be Jake and his hair. But also, I simply wouldn't want my sour disposition to bring down Flerick's mood in any way. Mac, it needs to be said, has the very best voice on Grand Sumo Breakdown, and beyond those dulcet and sultry tones, I do find I really appreciate his relentless brand of optimism. When he makes predictions and he's wrong, I get to feel a smug sense of satisfaction. Yes! But on the other hand, on those rare occasions when he is correct, there's no slow build of bitter resentment, just a sense of shared joy. And so I've got to say, keep up the good work. And on now to our Dai Yokozuna, Ryan. Ryan, every sports broadcast group needs balance. They need their Skip Bayless, and that's what you bring to the table. Week after week, you step up to that plate and swing for the fences. I think it's particularly admirable how you're able to tone down aspects of your natural personality in order to fit this role. And as a last-minute inclusion, my wife Molly wanted me to let you know, don't worry, she thinks you're a real engineer. I don't know what that means, but there you go. All right, hopefully this is the last time I have to do this. I will try and suck less in 2 months.
Yeah. It's very jarring once the podcast ends and your personality just changes so much, Ryan.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh man, the busting out the half a engineer joke from the last 10 years, I guess.
My job title literally has engineer in it. How many of you could say, I mean, maybe some of you. Yeah. Jake.
Mine has engineer and senior in it.
Mine has the number 3, which means I'm better than the 1s and the 2s.
Hey.
I've graduated beyond that.
It's okay. As long as we're better than somebody, we're still doing okay, right?
Yeah. What is Trent? A vet? Who even cares?
Also, his voice sounds amazing.
Good mic.
No, that was a pretty solid mic. Yeah, Trent isn't just a vet; he's such a specialized vet that if I took
veterinarian,
yes,
yeah.
I just want to, just in case people,
I'm just saying it would like literally be doxing him to say his full job title, because it's like so specialized. There's like a couple of them in the country.
Also, hi Molly, hi Trent. We love you. We miss you.
Get effed, Molly. Get absolutely effed.
We should go to Chili's sometime.
Those compliments got a little bit backhanded as we went on, didn't they?
Yeah. Weirdly, when it came around to Ryan, they weren't fully compliments anymore. Hey, at least he recognized me as Dai Yokozuna, which is better than most of you guys could say.
Oh, much better than I. Yeah,
I literally forgot.
All right, let's get on. I love the compliments thing. Let's make it so like 3 people lose every time.
Oh, God.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. It's been far too long for us to get compliments. All right, Mac, you were the ultimate loser last time, which gives you the first selection in the champs. Who will you be taking?
I will put my money where my mouth is and say Terunofuji.
Yeah, I mean, obvious.
He's there.
I mean,
you kind of have to. Yeah.
Jake, who are you going to be taking?
I will do the same. I was talking up Kirishima earlier. I think that's I think I got to go with him.
I think I could see the way that this is going. I've got to have to believe new Ozeki drop down isn't going to be real for him, so I'm going with Koto no Waka. Going to keep riding his coattails.
How do you pronounce that again? Koto no Waka?
Yeah, Koto no Waka.
Oh yeah, I was just seeing it written
this?
down as Koto no Waka.
There's too many O's in that.
Oh, don't know.
Oh, that was Mac writing it down.
It's me.
I thought you were holding back some passion or something like that.
My finger on the key a little too long.
You're like really hyping up this guy.
Oh, that's what I was expecting, was him to hype him up, but no.
Well, I'm just nervous because, like the new Ozeki, they don't know, they've got all these extra obligations and stuff, and so they don't always come in.
Come on, energy, right? Energy.
Let's go, Koto no Waka.
There we go.
Let's skip that show.
Doing it. Got it. Fleric.
Let's not, but I like your energy.
Yes.
Huh. Daisho and Abi are both open. Interesting.
Oh, God.
How did Adam
Anger
do last time? Or Saint Anger? Yeah.
Saint Anger, I believe he finished tied for last. So you better go for
I'm going
Abi.
to not pick those guys. Maybe if I swap them. Maybe if I just switch them. No, I'm going to do something slightly different and look towards the bottom of the banzuke. And I'm going to look at Takerufuji. I'm going to pick him as my champ.
I thought we were going to go.
Ryan might go there.
I thought we were going to go chalk and just have the top 4 guys on the banzuke be our champs. I thought you were locked for Hoshoryu there. I like the Takerufuji. I don't think that's a bad pick whatsoever.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
He's a good looking nugget, as you can see. He's covered with
enjoyable. Kids love him.
I even seem like he looks like some honey mustard might be just kind of in his future. It's some good stuff.
All right, you also get the first pick of Chump.
Oh fuck! I have no idea. There's a lot of overpromoted people. This is gonna be interesting.
This one's there
should
might
be a front
feasting
runner
on Chump points this time.
Yeah. Oho is tempting with him just right there. You know what? Let's go. As much as it pains me to somehow be believing into Ryan's take that Oho is not going to
you don't need
do really
to.
well.
You could take somebody else. Like if it hurts you, like you could take somebody else.
Yeah, that's what Ryan wanted to pick. That's where we're going. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's the motivation I need, Ryan. I'm gonna pick Oho as my chump.
All right.
That leaves me in a difficult position because he's the far and away obvious one, and then you've got like a bunch of other people tied.
Yeah, there's a couple second tier picks here.
It could be. All right. I don't want to do Hira to Umi because I think he's scrappy enough to go like 6 and 9. I really need to find like a 4 and 11, 3 and 12 kind of guy. And do I think Tsurugisho is that guy? I don't know that I do, but fudge. Okay. Because I'm also looking at the bottom of the banzuke in Diamami. This is a 31-year-old whose last appearance in the top division, he went 2-9-4, and the time prior to that, he went 4-11. So he could be a really good like Bushozan type pick. Oh shoot, I don't want to. I'm overthinking this, which is what I always do, and then I'm just gonna select Nishikigi.
Don't take Nishikigi.
Don't do it.
Diamami.
You had more hype for Diamami than you did Koto no Waka.
No, I'm so unsure. Ever since I got bit by Nishikigi, I'm so unsure on all of my chump picks.
Yeah. I was just
surely
messing
it won't
with
happen
you.
again.
I was just messing with you. I'm not going to take Nishikigi.
Oh God, I'm never taking Nishikigi again. Are you effing kidding me?
I'm going to take Hiradomi though.
All right.
He is one outside the Joy as it stands, but there's probably going to be at least one guy pulling out. My guess would be that there will be at least one pulling out, and even if there isn't, he's still higher than he has been. Let's see, what is his previous high? He's been 5 before, but he's never had a winning record higher than.
I think
like
he went
8.
5 and 10 from 5. So
yeah, so I'm comfortable saying that. I think this is too high for him. He's still a relatively young guy. Not relatively. He's still a very young guy. He's only 23, but from what I've seen out of him, I feel comfortable saying that this is a pretty potential skill check Basho for him.
All right, Mac. You still got some decent choices out there.
Yeah,
definitely.
I know.
What was
I'm
that
stuck.
thinking noise?
Yeah, that's my thinking noise.
I think it was nerp. You're dialing up.
I'm dialing up.
We are.
Yeah, I gotta go with Tsurugisho. I think he is overpromoted, like you guys said, and it just makes sense.
He just scares me a little bit because he's at M6, so he's not going to be facing like the full Sanyaku slate.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm not overly scared of a group that's like Keen Bozan, Tamawashi, Gonoyama, Onosho, Takayasu.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
They could all be middling. Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like for me Tsurugisho is like a 7 and 8, 6 and 9 kind of guy. I gotta find that 4 and below. I feel like
I would say
Diamami's higher probability for 4 and below.
Sure. Yeah, Tsurugisho though, I the last few Basho, he has shown flashes of like legitimately being pretty good. I don't think that he'll tie it all together, but like that was the thing that made me decide not to pick him, was like he can like get full on lift outs. I don't know.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know, middling. We'll see what happens.
So to save a little bit of time, because this one is already kind of a bit long, we did pre-draw the punishment. We're going to try a new thing this time around. We're doing Yokozuna's Choice.
Ooh.
So Yokozuna, whoever wins, because we've been pushing the punishments back to the next Basho, we have a little bit more time to figure things out. We can be a little bit more elaborate, or we can just be a little bit more creative. But we often don't know who that Yokozuna is until the morning that we record. Mm-hmm. And this time around, especially with having 3 of the 3 top guys on the banzuke, or 3 of the top 4, whatever. Now I'm getting tied up. Is Kota Nowaka the fourth Ozeki because he is
he's the 4th Ozeki, so 3 of the top 5.
We have 3 of the top 5 guys, so they could all very well end up facing each other at the very end. And it could be a very last second determination for who's going to be the Yokozuna. So we decided, you know what? Let's just take a little bit of the stress out of it. And if you win the Yokozuna, you get to pick which of our established punishments to inflict upon the loser.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of punishments, Mac and Fleric both owed us a punishment.
So we're going to play them now, right, guys?
Yep. Right now. Oh wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. It's
look at the time.
Look at the time. No, it's
come November, we're gonna have 6 punishments ready to go.
It is looking that way. Yeah. No punishment just yet, but we're looking at a later date. Will be happening.
It'll happen
someday.
Yes.
This one's gone on long enough. We don't need to bulk
certainly
it up
don't need to pad it. Yeah.
Yep. And so if you have any predictions of your own, feel free. We're on Twitter. There's a thread that's already been started for our bold predictions. Give us your bold predictions. Whoever has the best, we will send a free T-shirt to. Might be delayed for a while, but we'll get there. Hey, everybody's gotten it eventually.
If I'm the only one who has the login to send out T-shirts, I feel like I have a little bit of an excuse to be a little late sometimes. But I will say we've had some excellent discussion in the Discord about bold predictions every time since we opened up that Discord. That has been so much fun.
Yes.
Especially because we just talk trash to each other constantly throughout the Basho.
Twitter isn't the only way to send those in. If you're listening or watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave one in the comments. Send us an email if you're in our Discord. We've got a thread created in the Discord specifically for bold predictions. Any way you want to send them, we'll find it. We'll take it into consideration for who wins the t-shirt. So I believe we have one more Amazumo thing on the board, Jake.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we had we have this section for if we have like extra fan messages and stuff. So I wasn't sure where to put this, but wanted to shout out Eric from Chicago. It was awesome to meet you. And I especially wanted to bring up because he mentioned when me and Fleric went out there the other day that he ended up learning about his local club or finding out that there was a local club he could train with because he listens to this show. And that obviously for our egos, we have to bring that up a little bit, but thank you for thank you for looking into amateur sumo. Anybody, if you're in the States, I guarantee there's a club within a couple states of you at most. There's tournaments all over the place. If you ever want to try it, if you ever want to make a road trip out to where one of these clubs is, or for a lot of you, there's already one in your town. Amateur sumo clubs are everywhere. It's super fun. You don't have to be super intense about it. You can just go to learn, hang out, try it out. Super fun. So props to you, Eric, and it was awesome to meet you.
What rights to which name does he currently have? Because I believe, Jake, you currently own the rights to the name Eric.
That's true.
Is it?
I thought one of us walked away as Eric and one of us walked away as Matt, and I don't think you had your own name.
Yeah,
so
I think there was only one.
He introduced himself as Matt.
Yeah, there was only one title of Eric between the two Erics. For people confused, my first name is Eric.
No, it is Fleric.
But yeah, so there was one title of Eric between the two of us, which I think
so if
ultimately
he doesn't have it, he may have to go by his middle name from now on or something.
Yeah. But
we'll reach out. We'll correct the record if we have to.
Yeah.
But ultimately, between the two of us, neither of us went away with Eric. And...
Right. Yes, I do. That part I'm certain of.
But yeah, He was a cool guy.
What is everybody most excited for in the upcoming Haru Basho? I'll start for me. Typically, talking about like the Ozeki runs, can they pull it off and all that? But we're far away from any Ozeki runs, as I mentioned. I feel like, at least. I think my eyes are mostly going to be on Ono Sato. How does he do at Maegashira 5? Is he going to keep up that same level of performance? Is he going to be able to get double digits again, or is he going to get slapped in the face by reality and maybe get a losing record this time? So I'm really excited to see how Ono Sato does, as he is, I think, even above Hakuoho, he was the one that was promised as like the next big thing. So let's see how quickly he gets to do it.
He was the more decorated amateur wrestler for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Mac, what are you most excited for?
I want to see how well Takerufuji can bounce back. I really think he shows a lot of promise, and he got smacked down from the last Basho, and I want to see how he responds to it. Like, all right, you got beat down. What are you going to do?
Cleric?
Which of Ozeki is gonna make Terunofuji bleed with a loss?
Ooh.
I'll be curious. I was gonna say which one's gonna get the first win. I was like, oh, all right, Takerufuji has a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, never mind.
But yeah, I'll be curious which one is gonna start to kind of chip away against his armor and start saying, hey, I gonna start getting uses from you. I'll be looking to see which one.
Jake?
I'll say the same thing as Fleric, but kind of in the opposite direction. I want to see the Ozeki, the three guys that are new in the last year here, establish themselves more firmly as the top tier. I think they're doing very well at that, and that's kind of the storyline that I'm watching for. I want to see Kirishima, Hoshoryu, Kota Nawaka walk away with only 1 or 2 wins tops to the guys below them.
All right, so that is going to wrap up our preview of the Haru Basho. The Basho is starting, as we mentioned, in 6 days on Sunday, March 10th, I believe. Going to be an exciting Basho. And thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Till next time.
You almost stuck it. Yeah, say your thing.
I know. Well, you can't interrupt me.
Oh, did you start saying it? I'm sorry. You looked like you were floundering and you forgot.
No. Sorry. Let's start it over. All right. Basho starts the 6 days on March 10th. Until next time, throw your salt high and keep moving forward.
There you go. Too bad we can't edit it out.
Nope.
Bye.
Bye.